what about this? Disney suing DeSantis. You have a law degree. You've studied these things. They're suing the governor of Florida over what they call a relentless campaign to weaponize government power. It's a major escalation in this year-long clash between, of course, Mickey Mouse and the what do you call him, pufferfish from Florida.
Yeah. But as you reminded us, pufferfish is poisonous. So yes, that's almost even more appropriate.
Yes. The lawsuit was filed today in U.S. District Court for the Northern District of Florida. It came the same day that the governor's handpicked board declared a Disney-friendly deal null and void. DeSantis also is vowing to put a incarceration facility right next door to Disney. They've been back and forth. Disney did a checkmate on them. It's interesting. What should the lawsuits? I feel like that's what got Fox upended. Lawsuits might be very effective.
I agree. It's this is a tough one, Prof, in some ways, I think. And I think it's fairly obvious. Disney has basically been allowed to create its own state in Florida because it's good for business. They've had that deal for decades. So when you not only step onto their campus, their playground, their amusement park, but the surrounding areas, this Reedy Creek Improvement District, you're basically on Disney property. It's like, can you do that in the United States? You can do anything you want. Now, the outgoing board, of course, which wasn't controlled by DeSantis, in the 11th hour approved this deal, which basically gave Disney even more power. Okay, that's fine. But then DeSantis comes in with his political ambition and agenda and a super majority in the Florida legislature and says what that outgoing board did is null and void. And so Disney files basically a First Amendment lawsuit and says, not only are you suppressing freedom of speech, you violated the contrast clause, you violated the takings clause, you violated our due process. And that's where it gets fascinating because as George Romney, his father, Mitt Romney, reminded us years ago when he was running for president, corporations are people, my friend, in the United States. First Amendment, this is what John Robertson were using at the Supreme Court level to promote religious intolerance. I don't want to bake a cake for you. I don't want to make no wedding because I have First Amendment rights. Hobby Lobby. I mean, these are First Amendment cases. So, Prof, this is the intriguing question. Do we want to strengthen the First Amendment rights of corporations when they are in a situation where they own basically the land? Just on principle, take away the race.
See, and this is the problem with being emotional. Because I'm on Disney's side until you just posed it that way, because just like expanding the courts, which I'm like, now that this guy's president, let's do that. But if Trump is president or DeSantis, do we want the courts expanded? Because, so we have to be a little bit more strategic and definitely more knowledgeable. Right. Thank you for framing that. Right. Yes.
Now, of course, on the other side, we know DeSantis. Look, like you said, this thing came down and within minutes, Disney had filed the lawsuit. Why? Because both sides already had their suits ready. They knew this was going to court. Now we look at the federal courts and what we understand separate from the legal issues. Politically, we know this is all about DeSantis's political ambition. And the question then becomes, do you really want to slap around LGBTQ community, queer community? Do you want to have children crying at Disney World and somebody running a political ad and saying people in orange jumpsuits stand across the street throwing stuff at Mickey Mouse? DeSantis may have overplayed his hand politically, but as you say, it's much more complicated when we look at the legal issues underneath it.